For a long time, I thought that my problem with trading was technical. I was looking for more entries. I was looking for better analysis. I thought that there must be something that I am not seeing when it comes to the markets. And the problem turned out to be a lot more deeper than that. It turned out that I was seeing the market as an existential threat to my own survival. And this is exactly what we're going to discuss today here. Alright, so what do I mean by existential threat to my survival? Well, when I initially started trading, I never thought that I'm going to get to the point where the markets can actually threaten my own survival. And this video is highly related to the video I made previous week. So if you haven't seen that one, please go watch it. It's kind of building up to where I'm going to get today. And I feel like I'm getting somewhere. I don't know if I've mastered it. I don't know if I have the full answer yet, although what I know is that I'm getting somewhere, which is something that I am willing to share with you right here. So the existential threat is deeply embedded into one's psychology and survival mode, because as an ego, the ego is trained to survive, and it's actually doing such a great job in order to keep you safe and to keep you away from danger and to just make sure that it maintains a basic line in order for its own survival. Although trading is different, and the same mechanism cannot work when it comes to trading, which is the realization that I've had this week. Because, as I mentioned previously, I was scared to enter positions. Even though my analysis turned out to be correct, I was always hesitant before I was entering a position. And then I kept blaming my analysis. I kept blaming not having enough confirmation. I kind of blamed the markets for not really giving me what I needed. And as it turns out, that's not really the issue. The issue is that my ego tries to protect my own survival. And that is something that needs to be fixed. And that is something that eventually any trader has to go through in order to go to the next level of trading. Because without really bypassing this ego security measure, then you cannot really make it in trading. And this is a very deep psychological topic and subject, although I'm just gonna talk from my own experience without getting too much into the details of how this works and how and why. So, every single time you enter a position, you are exposing yourself to a massive amount of risk and uncertainty. And obviously the ego hates both risk and uncertainty because it just wants to be safe. It just wants to know that it's safe and it's protected at all costs. Although trading really exposes all these flaws, isn't it? It's every single time you have to expose yourself to risk and uncertainty, which is exactly the opposite of what the ego wants. So I came to this realization because I struggled so much, and I'm still struggling. I haven't really managed to fix it yet, but I'm still struggling to actually find the courage to bypass this ego safety measure. Although what I've tried to do lately is that I started seeing the markets as a playground. So in my own head, I don't really see it as I'm trying to change my whole paradigm about trading and how my mind sees trading. So seeing it as a playground to me makes things a lot more easier, because then I understand that, I'm just going to play. I'm not necessarily exposing myself to huge amounts of risk and uncertainty. I'm here to play. So that made trading for me a lot more easier this week. I haven't had much success when it comes to the P&L, although I don't really care about that at the moment. all I care is the process that I'm willing to follow. But then even when I follow the process, there's still more things that are coming up, and then more things that are coming up, and then a lot more things that are coming up. And so to me right now, trading is more of a mental battle until I really find my rhythm, and then until I really find, my own trading pace, if that makes any sense. And I hope it makes sense, because as traders we all different, and as individuals we're all different. And so every single one of us has different traits and different personality, just personality flaws and little problems that will eventually reflect in the market. And so really the market is just a mirror that's just gonna reflect back to you every single time you trade. So to me right now, the biggest thing that I see is that I have associated trading with an existential threat. And that makes things a lot harder for me to engage in the market, to participate in the market, just to be active. And even if I find the courage to actually pull the trigger and, find myself in a trade, then my mind starts playing again, because then it's all about trade management. And when do I exit? What if he reverses? What if he goes back and hits my stop loss? What if he goes back and hits my break even? And so the reason why I don't have such a huge P&L right now is because, I know how to find the entries, and I'm working towards executing the entries. Although when I'm in a position, I tend to exit very early. So what happens is that I would either let my trades hit the stop loss, and then I'm going to take the loss, because I don't actually mind that. But then the reason why I'm not making any money is that once I'm in a trade, I exit too early, because I'm then, I then start overthinking and then seeing the markets again as a threat. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm actually happy with what I made. The next one will be better. And then I exit, and then I don't really make much. So I'm sitting at break even right now on all my accounts. I'm really sitting at break even because, again, it will probably take me a while to actually bypass all these safety measures that have been running my life pretty much for my whole existence. And I'm 31 years old now, and these things are deeply embedded in one's psyche, if I can put it like that. And it's done a great job to get me to this point in my life. Whereas, for me to become a consistent, profitable trader, this actually needs to be addressed and fixed. So this is what I wanted to share with you. This is what I really wanted to point out to you. I feel like I'm really getting somewhere. I haven't mastered it yet. Although I do have all these insights that show me something about myself, things that I can improve. But I know that these things will actually take time to improve. And the only way to do that is by repetition and execution. And surprisingly, the data that I have is very encouraging. And despite the data, I still struggle when it comes to, executing accordingly and then making sure that the trade management is on point. So yeah, this comes with time. I know it's gonna probably require me a couple of more months to become a lot more confident, to bypass all this ego defense mechanism. But I know I'm gonna get there, and I know if I work hard enough and if I keep doing the things that I'm doing right now, I will eventually manage to overcome it. And it's interesting because last week I mentioned something that I'm not scared of losing, but at the same time, I'm scared of letting my trades run. So I said that it's not related to fear, although it's fear. So I realized this. This is fear. It's just a more nuanced form of fear. Fear that is just coming up to different forms every single time that I find myself trading. And yeah, the more awareness I'm going to bring into these things, the more awareness that I'm going to have when I trade and after I trade, and keeping this journal, because this is really my journal here. I know things will eventually get a lot more easier and better for me if I stick to the process and if I have enough self-belief that this is gonna turn out nicely for me. So this is it. This is what I wanted to share. These are my thoughts. This has been my experience for this week. I hope this is gonna be beneficial, because what I'm really trying to point out to you is what's really happening behind the curtain and what is really the journey of somebody who just started, and all the fears, all the anxieties, all the thoughts. So these are all my notes from this week. And I do hope that these notes will eventually help you as well when it comes to your trading. Because the path is similar, although it might be different, but the path is similar in many regards for most of us when it comes to trading. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned, because I am only going to post this here. This is my only journal. This is where I can express myself and where I am going to be expressing myself in the future. So if you're curious to see how my journey turns out, then stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.